cannot have a president who's a chronic liar. I don't care what your passions around tax cuts or regulation or immigration. I respect difference there. The president of the United States cannot be someone who lies constantly. I thought Republicans agreed with that. It's one of the reasons I'm no longer a Republican. I hope the American people will realize we have to start at that values level, no matter what our political background, and answer that question first. And if that's a close question in an election, then get to the important policy differences.
Right. This is Possibility Politics. I'm Jeff Stein, along with Erica Ferriston and Jeff Hendrick, and Executive Brian is over here because he's got to jump in.
Very well stated, and really sad that at the level of government, we have to start at the kindergarten basic of lying is not wrong. Okay. But okay, we're there. So he said the right thing. Now what do you have?
Yeah, and so this gets back to the theme, which is if they're willing to lie, you know this from, you have children, you have small kids, and I have a kid, and it's like they lie because they see it as the path of least resistance.
Absolutely.
They think it's less pain to lie, right? And which means you are more in your certitude than you are in your understanding, because if you had a sense of your knowing, had a sense of your presence of mind and your value in the world, you would be able to say, hey, I goofed, I'm wrong, I have to change my opinion. Like when the great woman Obama was all anti-gay marriage forever, and then decided, wait a minute, I'm wrong. I know. She gets a smirky look. But anyway, it's an example she doesn't like. But it's an example of you come around.
Well, I want to say, but what would you say, though, about the other side? Okay, so a child often lies because it's the path of least resistance, meaning they're afraid they're going to get in trouble. They're going to have to do something that they can't handle. So is it then, if the parents create an environment in which the child knows, you know what, speak the truth and we can handle this together. Right. And I'm not going to be a punitive parent. Doesn't that help them to
you have to create an environment where
find
lying
their
doesn't
certitude
pay.
Right.
Or we're telling the truth pays more.
Right. Yeah, right, exactly. There's got to be a greater incentive on touch of Executive Brian.
The scenario in which you're talking about is great on a one-on-one relationship between a parent and a child.
Right.
We're talking about it's not the path of least resistance, it's the path to greater confusion. That's what they're causing. They know that.
But
tuning the confusion, because in confusion, there's profit. As long as they continue to create the mass hysteria about what's really going on and doubt everybody around you, they're winning.
Exactly. And I would argue that that is their path of least resistance.
Right.
That confusion, which is exactly what you articulated point on, is created for them to profit. And everything we're talking about comes back to money and power.
Right.
Everything.
So let's go to the great example of that. Lindsey Graham. Allow me, if I may, play this little classic clip of some of his political windsock, Lindsey Graham. Right.
Donald Trump, I think he's a kook. I think he's crazy. His policies are really bad for the country. He's not fit to be president of the United States.
He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. No, I don't think he's a xenophobic, race-baiting, religious bigot. I like the president. I am like the happiest dude in America right now. I am all in. Keep it up, Donald. I'm sure you're watching. He deserves the Nobel Peace Prize and then some.
And then some, the Nobel Peace Prize, and then some.
What? What?
All right, I'm going to bring you to task on this.
Please.
So why, with Obama, you said, oh, he didn't support, gay marriage, but then he had an epiphany and supported it. I mean, the epiphany happened to conveniently coincide with where the public was at the time. So why not give Lindsey Graham that? Why not give Lindsey Graham, in his world, he found the good in Trump and is relating to the good in Trump, and that's his perspective.
Well, of course,
Good grief.
I know.
You are limber to twist yourself into a pretzel like that. That's amazing.
It is true. By the way, I'm no Lindsey Graham fan. I'm no Trump fan, but it's like,
I get what
come
you're
on,
saying.
let's be, we have to have some consistency.
Yeah, well, obviously those
may I jump in?
Sure, man. Defend for me. I love it.
Obama's epiphany was a positive one.
And by the way, it preceded the electorate, because one of the great moments, the reason I point that out is because, and this is, you're seeing a different example, and I'm not hitting on you on this one, but before Obama said it's okay to call it marriage when it's homosexuals, 60 to 70% of black folks thought gay marriage was wrong. And he flipped, and then the black folks flipped. It was one of the fastest poll changing I've ever seen in my political history ever. That's why I like referencing it, because here's a leader who said, you know what, I was wrong. And black folks went, wait a minute, are we wrong too? And
Yeah,
I think that also
homophobic. I think that also had a lot to do with black folks looking at themselves in the mirror.
It was all coincided.
Oh,
it's
wait
oneness.
a minute.
Yeah, it's all happening at once.
It's 10% of us.
And I am
is
grateful
everybody
he
else
did.
as well.
Leading it instead
And
of
I am
following
grateful he did.
But
And
Lindsey
I'm not
Graham
putting that
followed
down.
it. He is truly the windsock. He went and said, okay, because you can trace the numbers. His approval ratings went down to 30% range in South Carolina, where he's up for re-election this year, of course. And then he said, I'm all in for Trump, and it went up into the 60s.
Right.
So it was that simple for him, right?
Again.
But of course, I still think that he's been fairly famous for being able to go, on different sides of issues. He used to join
That's
John
because
McCain
he
on
has
things.
no integrity.
He's lost.
He
He's
has
given it
no
up.
integrity
Not
at
anymore.
all.
Not anymore.
Well, I mean,
Anything
you
he
can
had.
pretty much put an octopus or a jellyfish in any container. It'll adapt, whether it's round, whether it's square, whether it's pyramid shaped, doesn't matter.
Yeah, and
That's kind of what he is.
There's
He's
a
a
part of me-
spineless goop.
Right? And it seems like, one, you say, okay, he flipped because, in South Carolina, he gets the Trump supporters, whatever. But I don't think it is that far. This is where we go into that certitude, no facts matter thing. Because I've watched Lindsey Graham for the years, and he could have ridden the middle. He could have said, I support the president, but I also think that we got to go after Russia. He could have said that.
Right.
And he did it for a while.
But
then
he went so
full
far,
in.
Nobel Peace
Yes.
he went Trump on
Yes.
himself.
Then the
with
question-
this
Steroids. The question is,
absurd-
what other pressure? What is the bigger fear? That's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay,
He
what's
has
the
a
bigger
bigger fear than even his electoral butt, I think. Because
Let's go ahead and throw out one of his statements he made about a month and a half ago. As far as it counts, I'm not gay.
as far as it
you
counts.
said that?
Yeah.
What does
When
that
did he say
mean?
that? Is there audio of that? I must get audio of that.
Fire away on your little machine there, my friend. You'll find it.
As far as it
Like,
counts.
words to that effect. Was basically, as far as it
Wait,
counts, I'm
so
not gay.
you're saying
Publicly,
that?
I'm not, but privately, I might be.
right. That's kind of how I read it. I'm like, oh, okay.
So
well,
you're
then.
saying they have compromat on him, basically, with the Russians that
How
they
could
have.
they not?
And so he's afraid that they're going to out him as.
This is what I think.
Being
He's got
gay.
to. Because remember now, we've
Which, by
watched
the way,
it.
Lindsay, ain't nothing wrong with it, brother. Come on out.
Yeah, you know what? I
Right.
think
Come
it's
on out. It might be scary because,
Way-
you're married and all that.
way
but
more.
He's
way-
not married. No, he's a bachelor still. Lindsey
he
Graham.
is?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
one of the things. He's a lifetime bachelor. And was like, why are you still a bachelor? Because
Oh,
I just haven't
Lord.
found
Well,
the right
then come
one.
on out.
He keeps saying, I haven't found the right one. I'm like,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you know what?
With the right plumbing. Keep going.
I have so much less issue with him being gay than I do with him accepting a bunch of washed money through the NRA from Russian oligarchs.
I don't think we
Yes.
have any issue with him being gay
Right, exactly.
at all.
I have no issue with
Right, I
him
don't even
being
think even
gay.
South Carolinians now would have as much issue with gay as they would with him taking Russian money.
So then, let's say, what do you think? What is the damning evidence in his mind? Is it video? Is it what? And what happens if it gets leaked? I mean, maybe we would do him a favor if you could find that
Right,
on
and just
your
keep
little
playing it.
machine.
Get it out on Twitter
and just out him as gay and
Yeah.
let him stand
I
up to
don't know.
that.
I got, Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Come in out of the cold, get a hug, brother. Drop the rubles and get a hug.
Yeah.
That's a good bumper sticker.
Because-
Drop the rubles and get a hug.
Because they even got him on, and this is where this again. Actually, we'll do this in the next segment because I want to come to this. Is that the Overton window, which again is the
Is this Rick Overton?
No, that'd be funnier.
Oh, okay.
That'd be much funnier and more controversial. The Overton window is the concept, for those who don't know, is the concept that if you speak about a political topic way over out of where the mainstream is, if you keep talking out there, it will move the dialogue to it. If you say ludicrous
Oh, good.
things,
Then single payer.
that is
single
correct.
payer.
Yes.
But you know what? That's not
That's right.
That's not far enough out of the mainstream, my friend. That should be the mainstream.
It is the mainstream with the people, but it is not the mainstream with the media.
Right. So in the next segment, I want to talk about the big I word, impeachment, because that has been moving in the Overton window, even went over to Fox News. So that's where we'll come back when we come back to Possibility Politics.